Hey everybody, Qroo here. Welcome to the channel. I recently did a video showing you a super useful construction with the Spanish gerund, seguir plus gerund, to keep doing something. Seguimos trabajando, we keep working. If you didn't see that video and you're not super familiar with using the gerund, I recommend you actually go watch that one first because I go into a lot more detail than I'm going to go in this one. This one is kind of a continuation, you know. In this one, I'm going to give you another useful verb construction using the gerund, but I'm not going to go into the detail that I went into in the first one. All right, so let's take a look at our construction for the day. We're going to have two options for this one, and you can choose which one you like better. There's no difference. And the first one is acabar plus gerund, or terminar plus gerund. Acabar and terminar both mean to finish. When you use them with the gerund, it means to end up doing something. We ended up buying the red house. Acabamos comprando la casa roja, or terminamos comprando la casa roja. When we're using this construction, we're generally conjugating either acabar or terminar in the preterite, the simple past tense. If you're ever unsure how to conjugate something, just go to wordreference.com, look up the verb you're interested in, and you're going to see a button here on top that says conjugación. Just click that and you're going to see the verb conjugated in every possible form. Super great site for that. I ended up studying all night. Acabé estudiando toda la noche, or terminé estudiando toda la noche. I like this construction a lot because it really fits like my English paradigm. I ended up studying, we say studying in English also, they're using estudiando. It just fits, so it's easy to use. We ended up quitting the job. Acabamos dejando el trabajo, or terminamos dejando el trabajo. You may have noticed that I'm using the gerund of the verb dejar there. Dejar is a super useful verb in Spanish. This is actually a great way you can use it, meaning you quit something or left something more permanently, left school, left your job, that sort of thing. If you want another verb to actually quit your job, you can use renunciar, but you need to use it with the preposition a. So on your word list, you should have renunciar a, to quit something. Renunciamos al trabajo. We quit the job. Personally, I prefer to use dejar, but hey, you be you. So that's a pretty straightforward construction, right? So now let's look at some examples that use pronominal verbs. Those are the verbs that appear with a reflexive pronoun, like dormirse, to fall asleep, lavarse, to wash oneself, quejarse, to complain, preocuparse, to worry. I talked more about pronominal and reflexive verbs in that first video where I covered seguir plus the gerund. So if you're like, I have no idea what Paul just said, go watch that one. You'll maybe get a better idea. Let's look at some examples. We ended up staying home instead of going to the party. Acabamos quedándonos en casa en lugar de ir a la fiesta. Or terminamos quedándonos en casa en lugar de ir a la fiesta. There are a couple things I want to point out with these particular sentences. Let's look at our gerund there, our quedando. You'll notice we stuck nos right to the end of it. One of the things I really like about the gerund is that you can go ahead and stick that reflexive pronoun, me, te, se, nos, right on it. Also, when we get into direct and indirect object pronouns, you can stick them right on there too. That helps it keep that same word order that matches your English, which, well, makes this easier to use, right? And you may have noticed that a little accent mark appeared over the A in the gerund, and that's going to happen anytime we stick a pronoun onto it, okay? And when it's an ERIR verb, it's going to appear over the E. There's something else I want to point out about those two sentences. Take a look at how they end. En lugar de ir a la fiesta. Like, in place of going to the party, or instead of going to the party, but we're using the infinitive. We didn't use the gerund. We didn't say en lugar de yendo a la fiesta. This is a way that English and Spanish differ when using the gerund. In English, you know, we use the gerund after a preposition, like after going somewhere or before going somewhere. Well, in Spanish, that doesn't happen. When you have that preposition or that prepositional phrase like this, you're always going to use the infinitive. So far, I've only been talking about we and I, so let's go ahead and talk about a third party. Maria ended up falling asleep in the chair. You think you can do this one? You might be able to do this one. I'll wait. Take some time. I haven't quizzed you too much today. It's been an easy day for you. You ready? María acabó durmiéndose en la silla. Or María terminó durmiéndose en la silla. Did you get that one? That one was a little tougher because the verb dormir is irregular when using the gerund, right? It becomes durmiendo. But if you watched my first video, you might have gotten that. As I mentioned, it's not just reflexive pronouns that get attached to the gerund. You can also do it with indirect or direct object pronouns. I ended up buying it, and it is a book. Go ahead and try this one. It's not that hard, right? Shouldn't take you too long. Acabé comprándolo, or terminé comprándolo. Piece of cake, right? Now I'm going to give you one that's just a little bit harder. She ended up telling me the truth. All right, you ready? Ella acabó diciéndome la verdad, or ella terminó diciéndome la verdad. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, just do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And until next time, hasta luego.